Hi guys, Ed Haynes, Coastal Fitness Performance Training affiliate CSTL. Here to talk about the Asian Championships qualifiers, workout 17.3. The workout, 16-minute AMRAP. You're going to start with 3 rounds of 8 pull-ups, 6 bar facing burpees, 4 power cleans at 165 pounds for men, 105 for ladies. Into 3 rounds of 8 chest to bar, 6 bar facing burpees, 4 power cleans. And the remaining time in complete an AMRAP of 8 bar muscle ups, 6 bar facing burpees, 4 power cleans. Okay, so limitations, same format as we've been working the last few videos. First things first, pull up, chest to bar, bar muscle up technique and endurance. If you have a smooth butterfly down, then obviously that's going to be an optimal movement we want to go with. It's going to allow for a faster cycle speed and probably less time on the bar. If you don't have butterflies, then obviously you're going to opt for a kipping gymnastic pull up or chest to bar. Now just bear in mind that is more time on a bar, more fatiguing on the grip. And last, if you don't have the kipping technique down, then you're going to be going for strict movements here. And of course, that's a completely different workout if that's the case. Burpee capacity endurance. The good thing is it's not a whole amount of reps, it's not a lot. But if, for example, horizontal pushing is a weakness of yours, or just that displacement of blood or movement up and down is something that gets you going a lot, then obviously you need to factor that into it. Power clean, really the biggest limiting factor is whether that's a heavy weight for you or it's a light weight for you. Strong guys and strong girls will move that weight with not a lot of problem. Weaker individuals might struggle with that. Grip and pulling endurance. We're definitely looking at just the length of this workout and the amount of time you're going to be spending on a pull-up bar or holding onto a barbell. That's definitely going to come into play at some point. So for those of you who struggle with your grip, just factor that in and apply a sensible braking strategy from the start. So when we're talking about pacing, obviously, as always, build your strategy around what your limitations are, when to push and when to brake. So for example, if you know that anything on the pull-up bar is going to limit you in this workout, it doesn't make sense starting a 16-minute AMRAP going into big sets of unbroken reps, because you know that sooner or later that's going to break down and you're going to be stood for the majority of your workout looking at that pull-up bar. So a much better option is to start this workout with a bigger braking strategy. So for example, going in 2s, 3s or 4s on your pull-ups and chest to bars. If that power clean load is heavy for you, then you're going to definitely want to look to go in singles with considerable amounts of rest in there. And if that is you, make sure you're timing your rest. Don't just play it by ear. Give yourself, have someone there or count it yourself in terms of how long you take between singles. If that weight is light for you, it might be a good idea to go touch and go on those reps. With that said, just bear in mind touch and going, whilst it is a lot faster, it's more demanding on your grip because you have an eccentric component where you have to decelerate a moderately heavy load. And it's also going to make the workout a lot more metabolic. So because you don't get adequate breathing time, and the only time for you to breathe when you go touch and go is when the bar is in your front rack, and remember what that does to compressing your diaphragm. Just got to think, if that's something you're thinking about, there is a time in this workout when that's going to be smarter. For example, towards the end versus being at the beginning. Bar facing burpee technique, there's lots of different techniques out there. I'm sure you've all played around with them, but if you're going for the step up technique, if you're going for step back and step up, I mean, this is a long workout, maybe that's a good idea. Or you just like the 2-foot jump and 2-foot hop forward. The elite, from the scores I've been seeing and the athletes we've had test this workout, you're going to have a lot of time on bar muscle ups. So that means having a sensible pacing strategy at the start is probably going to be very important. If you go firing out the gates and blitz through this first 6 rounds of your pull-ups and chest to bars, you're going to be at your bar muscle-ups with 9 to 10 minutes. And if you're already in the hurt locker by that point, it's going to be a miserable workout for you, and it's not necessarily going to lend to getting a good score in this workout. It might be a much better strategy to move smoothly through these first 6 rounds, making sure that you're feeling fresh to attack the bar muscle-ups. Obviously, the bar muscle-up is probably the most taxing movement of all of these pull-up movements. So if you know that's something or that's somewhere you're going to get to, be smart at the start. Reminders, grips and hand management. If you're someone who trains with grips, I would highly recommend wearing them. If you never train with grips, don't suddenly start wearing them now. It's something that you should have implemented in practice and training. We're just bringing it into competition now. Hand management, shave down calluses, all that kind of stuff, do that before. Warm up, definitely make sure you're prepping your grip and your forearms. If you don't do that at all and you just spend minimal time warming up that, it's gonna be a rude awakening as soon as you get anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes into this workout. Repeats, I definitely think this is a workout you can do more than once. It really depends how far you get in the workout and how much pulling you do and then what is your limiter. So for example, if you don't train or your pulling up capacity isn't massive and you go through that workout, that's a lot of volume. In which case you're gonna need to rest a little bit more between attempts. Do bear in mind that 17.1 has some very similar limiting factors in terms of grip, kipping, and that dynamic movement of the shoulder. So I definitely wouldn't recommend doing these 2 workouts back to back. Make sure you're spreading those out before the submission deadline. Good luck, guys. Look forward to seeing your scores.